Hey guys, thanks for showing up to my presentation. My name is Brent Bowers, and today I'm going to be talking about the power of passive income through land investing. I'm going to be talking about land flipping and the secrets of passive income. Just for anybody out there that's like, what is passive income? It is income coming in the door, whether you're working or not. It's not mailbox money. It's money coming directly into your bank account. This is not you actually going out there to actively work. It's passively receiving income. It might sound too good to be true, but I'm going to tell you how a guy that was serving in the military I was able to leave the military and have the life of my dreams with passive income. It's going to be talking about land from anywhere in the world. You can live anywhere, everywhere. There's deals everywhere when it comes to land investing. Guys, I'm going to show you how to get paid an additional $100 a day without even leaving your full-time job. Or maybe you hate your job and you want to leave, and that extra $100 a day would really benefit you. That's $3,000 additional a month, or an additional $36,000 a year. So $100 a day times 365 days in a year is an extra $36,000 in a year, and that's going to be passive income. Guys, this is just working a few hours a week on land deals. You can do this on land deals all over the country, and you can be making this $100 a day within a very short amount of time. All right, so get ready to learn. I'm going to ask you for a few things. I'm going to talk about the big three, but if you're just joining me on today's presentation, be prepared to talk about the big three. These are challenges that many face in the real estate industry today. I'm going to be talking about how to generate entirely passive income where you get paychecks every single month buying and selling vacant raw land all over the United States. I'm going to be talking about how to find the deals that everyone else is ignoring. Guys, people are passing by land every single day and they have no clue what to do with it, so they're ignoring it. And I too was that person before I found this back in 2016. So you can activate your very own money machine in your backyard. I call my land offer letter system. I'm going to talk about that today. That is my money generating machine. That is my land buying machine. And then we have a land selling machine, and that's by using very specific people. And then the third one, I'm going to be talking about how to break free of that 9-to-5 job that you absolutely hate, or that treadmill, the rat race, so you can start living life on your terms in one of the safest real estate plays on the planet. Today, I am actually planning, we're going to be out of the country for the next 6 weeks after we get done recording this podcast. So that I was not able to do that in the military, and passive income allows me to do that. A few months ago, we were able to take off over 3/4 of the month to go and travel while the money was still coming in. And I'm going to show you how those paychecks roll in every single day. All right, so you might be wondering, is this for me? So if you're a person that's living paycheck to paycheck and working a thankless job for a thankless boss and doing thankless work, yes, this is for you. I want you to listen. You're sick and tired of tenants, toilets, termites, trash, fixing sewer lines, running your rental business or your house flipping business. You've created yourself a job. This is for you. And you hate dealing with banks, or you can't even get a bank loan, or you don't even know where to begin to get private money. This presentation is for you. All right, so let's make a deal today. Guys, I want you to pay very close attention to what I'm about to say. I wish someone would have told me this back in 2015 when I was preparing for that third combat deployment to Afghanistan. I wish I would have heard this sooner, so I pray this finds the right ears. So here's what I'm going to ask you to do. I want you to put your phone on Do Not Disturb. Actually, better yet, just turn it off. Turn off the TV. That TV is not making you any money. It's not serving you. It's actually probably serving you to allow calories to build up and get fat sitting on the couch. Close the door. Get rid of any and all distractions. Get a pen, a notepad, paper, whatever you want to take notes. When you write it down on paper, it goes to the brain. All right, so here's my promise to you. I am going to be showing you a clear, actionable path forward to instantly start improving your real estate business, or showing you a way to start a real estate business by buying and selling vacant, raw land that everybody else is ignoring. All right, so I'm not going to be talking about cold calling landowners or homeowners and getting screamed at on the phone. That's pretty scary. I would never want to do that myself. I'm not going to be talking about tenants or single family homes or homes in general. And I'm not going to be talking about spending tens of thousands of dollars on rehabbing houses and flipping houses and door knocking and cold calling. None of that stuff's going to be talked about today. Kiss all that stuff goodbye. All right, now I want to introduce you to one of my amazing students, one of my land sharks. This is Jordan, and he's done a tremendous amount of land deals already in a very short amount of time. He's only been with us 1 year.
Just wanted to make a quick video to thank Brent Bowers and the communities he's built over at the Land Sharks. I became a member towards the end of 2022, and within about a month and a half, I was able to purchase my first piece of property. Since then, the business has just kind of skyrocketed as far as just diving into the community of different land investors, and it's all thanks to kind of Brent and showing me the way and kind of paving that path. Now I'm working on my first big deal. It's a partner deal, 60 acres. We're going to subdivide it. So, it's crazy. It hasn't even been a year, and I couldn't even imagine doing this. But it all started with, the Land Sharks group, and just kind of that coaching, and having him hold your hand through the weekly meetings were super helpful. Hop on those if you have any questions. The community within the private Facebook group, it's just it's really amazing what he's built, and the support that comes with that group is unbeatable. So just wanted to say thanks, Brent. Keep doing what you're doing, man, and wish you all the best of luck in your land adventures.
Wasn't that awesome? See, this is what happens when you have a clear guideline, a step-by-step process to take. You do what Jordan has done. All right, now I need to talk about a couple quick legal requirements. All right, so what you're going to discover here in the next 25 minutes or so are strategies and tactics that took me over 7 years to figure this out. There was a lot of failure, guys. There's a lot of mistakes made. So doing this full time, I've done this full time for about 7 years now. I honestly haven't had a real job since 2018, but this is entirely possible that you will invest in real estate and possibly lose money. I've never lost money on a land deal, but I have lost money on real estate deals before. Anybody that tells me that they haven't, either I think two things: they haven't been doing it long enough, or they're just not doing anything that extraordinary. But anyhow, that's a whole nother subject. So in my opinion, land is one of the safest investment plays right now, but there's still risk. I mean, you could buy, you could pay too much, but here's the thing. I'm going to show you how to find buyers ahead of time. So this training is for educational purposes only. Okay. All right. So why should you listen to me? Who the heck am I? My name is Brent Bowers. I began investing in real estate right out of high school. I was going to seminars. I have spent a fortune. I've maxed out many credit cards, Capital One, American Express, all those cards, going to seminars in 2004 when I graduated high school. I finally got my real estate license when I was 21. That was about 2007. It took me 3 attempts to pass that stinking test. And then I bought my first rental as soon as I got my real estate license. I'm a terrible student. Like, I barely graduated high school. So if I can do this, anybody can do this. I no longer hold a real estate license. You absolutely do not need a real estate license to buy and sell land for yourself. So that's a huge myth. I hear people all the time, they go and get their real estate license. It takes them like a year to do it. And before you know it, they finally have their real estate license and they haven't bought the first piece of property. They don't own the first piece of land, and they still don't have passive income. So I joined the Army in 2009 while still keeping the real estate, or the rental property that I bought in 2007. And why did I join the military? Because I was getting my butt kicked in 2008 and 2009 in the real estate industry, and I quit. I really just wanted to reset my life. I wanted to go back to school. So I thought maybe joining the Army would be a little easier. And I wasn't even able to join the Air Force. And luckily that recruiter was kind enough to say, Brent, go next door to the Army. They'll take anybody. So I'm coachable. And I did it. So I served in the military from about 2009 to about 2018. That's 8.5 years, ladies and gentlemen. And I was only home in my own personal bed about 4 of those years. I was always gone, always away, always training. And first marriage didn't work out. Like, I did 2 back-to-back combat deployments in Afghanistan. And the second one, like, the marriage was over. So I didn't want history repeating itself. I had met the woman of my dreams. We're still married. We got 3 kids. And I did not want to have history repeat itself. So I was running from a problem. And I had to find I had to find a way to provide for my family. So in 2016, when I was searching for answers desperately, I was actually preparing. I was going on a training exercise. I was going to be gone for 3 weeks and then back for like 3 weeks and then gone for a year. And I was just devastated. I didn't want to keep doing that. So I found land investing. I pulled the trigger. I started taking immediate action, even though I didn't know what the heck I was doing. And it paid off. God blessed me with that. And it's amazing when you start going out there and working, you're going to make mistakes, but you're also going to grow from it. So now I'm focused on growing even bigger in real estate with land as my main area of expertise in creating that passive income stream and flipping the land. All right, so now most of my time is spent on coaching as well as doing land deals still to this day. I have a very small team. I have one acquisition manager, one executive assistant, one virtual assistant, and one in-house accountant. And you don't need all that to get started. I just wanted to control the process, but I wanted to stay very small and very profitable doing it. So I still do land deals. A lot of coaches, they make so much money coaching out there and they forget to do the main business that they're teaching. I still make more money doing land deals, but coaching other students, it's amazing what we do. We do deals together. We have private lending in our Land Sharks community. It's amazing. I actually just split. We did 28 parcels of land, me and Seth Taylor. He's one of my sharks out in Denver. We did 28 parcels of land in Pueblo, Colorado. We made a $22,000 assignment fee and we split that. And that's a deal I never would have been able to do if it wasn't for teaching Seth Taylor this program. So, it's not a scarcity mindset. There's so much out there. If I get one deal, that doesn't make one deal less for you, because a lot of people coming into the business, they think there's only so much of the pie. Well, that's only with pie. That's not with real estate. I have another student. His name is Trevor Probant. And they say that they're not creating any more land. Actually, he takes 6,000 acre ranches and he turns them into 50-acre pastures. This guy is literally creating more land. He's creating more parcels of land. Not really more land, but more parcels of land. All right, so guys, the Land Sharks is the community I started a couple years ago, and we've been quietly teaching both experienced and brand new and rookie investors that are looking to get started in real estate how to quickly generate passive income through vacant raw land investing. All right, so now I want to introduce you to Mason McDonald. This guy was the CEO of Springs Hospital out in Colorado Springs. He came into the Land Sharks community. I remember our very first meeting. I met him at a Mexican restaurant. He came in right away. He started taking action. He started getting the land offer letters out to landowners. And in 3 months, he texted me, said, "Brent, I quit my job." And I almost had a heart attack when he did this, because it was only 3 months into it. It was like, here's a CEO leaving the hospital he was running. He goes, "Brent, you don't understand. You don't understand. I've made more in 3 months than I do in my entire year running this hospital. And my health is deteriorating because of the stress. Land investing is so much better." So I talked about my executive assistant, Kelly Bebo is her name. She actually used to be Mason's assistant. So it's an incredible small world out there. I want you to hear what Mason has to say.
What's up, y'all? My name is Mason McDonald. I am a land shark, and I just have to give the most glowing recommendation for Brent. I met Brent back in 2021. I was going to invest with him on a deal, and then he talked to me about the Land Sharks program, and it sold me. And on my very first deal that I did, because of all of the tactics and techniques that Brent taught me, I made 114 grand. It allowed me to leave my job where I was the CEO of a hospital out here in Colorado. And I attribute it to Brent. His systems work, they make sense, they're easy to follow, and you can replicate them with ease. Couldn't recommend him any higher, as a person, as a friend, and now as a business partner, where we actually own a commercial building together. So the benefits of working with Brent in any capacity, specifically through the Land Sharks or any other coaching or consulting that he can do, it pays it forward and will change your life. I can definitely attribute the fact that I am now quasi-retired in my 20s to Brent Bowers. So make sure to listen to what he says, check out all of his content, and Brent, keep doing what you're doing, man.
Isn't that awesome? That's the power of taking action quickly. All right, so let's get into this. So who in the world is buying land right now? I never claim to be the smartest person in the room. I like to surround myself with people that are smarter than me, people that are better than things that I am, and hire them or either partner with them. So who is buying land right now? I follow what the smart money does. Some of the smartest money out there, multi-billionaires like Warren Buffett or Bill Gates, these guys are buying tremendous amounts of land right now as we speak. Why are multi-billionaires buying land? Because it's this absolute smart investment. As inflation goes up, the land holds your money and keeps it safe. Guys, follow what smart money does. All right, so why is the smart money investing in land? Well, I'll tell you, because land is simple. It's the simplicity of it. We're not having to go out and rehab homes and spend tens of thousands of dollars in renovations and repairs, and then refinancing and renting it out and all these things, Burr method and trailer park method. It's just vacant raw land. You get it for a discount and you sell it for a little bit more. Guys, if you wanted to base this whole thing on that, is we're getting one man's trash and turning it into another person's treasure. So that goes into this next point, lack of emotion. One man's trash can be that lack of emotion. Either they inherited the land seller, the land owner that's selling us the land, either inherited it or they bought it 20 years ago because they planned on, having that second home or that vacation home or that cabin that one day never happened. Life kept happening for them. And eventually they had children, and those children had children. And now they're paying for those children's colleges. And before they know it, like a spouse or husband or wife passes away, and they've been carrying the load of owning this land for all these years, paying all these taxes. And now they're a couple years behind on the taxes, or their Uncle John left them the land. Or like, I'll give you a story of my sister-in-law right now. She just inherited a piece of land in Florida, and my sister-in-law and her mother did not have a good relationship. And my sister-in-law's like, listen, she got me one more time from the grave. She got me one more time from the grave. And this land, she's trying to get rid of it as fast as possible. So there's a lack of emotion, a disconnect. They want to get that away and get rid of it. These sellers are frustrated. My sister-in-law is very frustrated right now because it's having to go through probate want. So they're frustrated and they're absentee owners. My sister-in-law also does not live local to this land. So they're having to travel. They're having to talk to lawyers and call and all these things. And at one time, they used to be long distance charges, but not anymore. But like, they're just absentee. They never step foot on the land. So they are a complete lack of emotion. They're disconnected from it. Not like homeowners or house sellers. These dilapidated houses, even though they're dilapidated, they've never painted or replaced the carpet, and the house smells like cat pee. They're still attached to it because they've owned it for all these years. And what are we told when investing in a home? Your home is your biggest investment. Well, landowners are not told that, so they don't see that. They don't see that their land is an investment. But when they sell a home and they're told your home is your biggest investment, well, what do investments do? They're supposed to increase in value, right? So they're supposed to make money off of this, even though they've never painted, they've never replaced a carpet, or they might have raised their family there for 18 or 20 years and they're emotionally attached to it. All right, so what are the upsides? I've talked about true passive income. I've talked about passive income quite a bit. And the passive income is truly passive. Like, we're not receiving phone calls from our tenants or our residents saying, hey, the toilet's not flushing again. Hey, the heater's not working. Hey, the air conditioner's not working. Hey, the house is starting to get cracks in the walls because the gutters aren't working and the water's coming back, and actually the foundation's starting to shift. There's no contractors or rehab necessary. Guys, I talked about I own some rental properties. I've got one rental property still to this day. I make $1,000 a month gross rent on this thing. So that means a tenant pays me $1,000 a month. Well, my mortgage payment is $700 a month. My mortgage is $700. I collect $1,000, so 8, 9, 10. That's like $300 a month net, right? That sounds like a good deal for some people. A lot of these guys are like, yeah, just get $100 that pay you $300. Guys, here's what they don't talk about. It's all the renovations and the repairs. I also have a property manager that runs this property. So she is collecting 10% of what that rent comes in. So we're collecting $1,000. So my property manager is keeping 10% of that. So she's keeping $100. So now I'm at only $200 a month net positive cash flow. Well, let me tell you what just happened in the last 2 months with this one property, just one property. The furnace went out, $5,000. I had to replace the sewer line, $7,000. I had to put gutters on the house, another $2,000. That was a lot of math for me, and I can't really keep track of it. But all I can tell you is that $200 a month, that's going to take me probably 5 or 6 years to recover from just those few things that happen with that property. So no contractors, no rehab, like things don't break on vacant raw land. And the tenants and the toilets and the trash. It's just nuts. And I already talked about the competition. Guys, there is virtually no competition in land flipping and in passive income land investing. Let me tell you why. Because HGTV has not made it sexy. No one else is talking about this. This has been the best kept secret, but it's been around longer than house investing because the land was there before someone went and put a house on it. So that's why I believe there's no competition, is because people don't see something they can rent out, like a home, or something they can buy and fix up, or something they can wholesale and assign the contract. You can do all those things. You can assign contracts with land. You can flip land. You can buy it and sell it on seller finance. And I'll get into some more of that. So what are the downsides? I believe there's virtually no downside of land investing. It's very low risk. My first piece of land was $285. I purchased the land for $285. Even though in 2016, I was pretty much flat broke. I owed a lot of money to Capital One, a lot of money to Amex. I had just moved across the country with the military. We had just had our first baby, and I was preparing for combat deployment number 3. $285 was a lot of money back then, but I went and looked at the land. I sat on it. I was like, what in the world can I do with this? And I started making phone calls. The first phone call I made was actually a real estate office. And I said, hey, what is the 30-day blowout price of this land? It's on Lake Avenue in Palmer Lake, Colorado. The realtor said, I'm very familiar with the area. I think about $10,000. Well, I had the land under contract, a purchase agreement for $285 to buy this land from a retired CPA. This guy was not broke. He was just retired. He traded the land many years ago for some tax work. He was willing to take $285 because that is what he owed on the back taxes, and he was just about to lose the land. And he said, might as well pay the back taxes off. And the CPA does not want to owe the government or the county the back taxes. So he took exactly what he had to pay the taxes off. And that realtor was willing to buy it from me just a few days later for $5,000. She actually made an offer for $5,000 and bought the land from me. So I traded $285 for $5,000 in a very short amount of time. That's why I say it's low risk. My first rental property, I borrowed $124,000 to buy that house. And I was in debt for 30 years. I had to get up and go to work every single morning to pay for that house. Way less risk to buy a $285 parcel of land. Low expenses. Guys, the only expenses that you have into this land are the tax payments each month. And most of the time, if there's no improvements, and what's an improvement? Culvert, fences, a house. If there's no improvements on the land, there's hardly any taxes. And most of the time, our buyers are paying those taxes for us anyways. And there's no houses or landlording. There's no extra things. There's no moving parts to the land. All right, so now I'm going to share the 3-part passive land system. Part 1 is find the land, find the vacant land. And guys, I'm not talking about land in the middle of the desert. Sometimes it's referred to as desert squares in this business. This is garbage no one wants. I'm not telling you to go out there and buy land in the middle of nowhere out in the desert for pennies on the dollar. Have I done it? Absolutely. Yes. And you can absolutely make money doing it. But I'm going to show you how to find land that is in demand and then pre-sell this land, this vacant land, to a buyer before you even pay for it. If you, like, a lot of people ask me, it's like, hey, what if I get stuck with the land? What if I can't sell the land? What if they would have fall over themselves? What if you had a buyer ahead of time that's willing to pay you more for the land than what the seller is willing to sell it for you? Let me say that again. The seller is willing to sell you the land for $5,000. You have a buyer ready to pay you $10,000. That's a guaranteed deal. You can't lose money on that. And if you already found one, what if that person for $10,000 backs out? If you already found one person, you could more than likely find a second person. So that's why I say pre-sell the land. That's why I say have a buyer lined up ahead of time and then get paid. And there's 3 ways to get paid from this. You can assign the contract. What does that mean? You get a piece of land under contract for $5,000 and you sell that contract for $10,000. So you're buying the land for 5, you're going to get the difference of 10,000 minus 5,000. So you're going to get a $5,000 assignment fee. That's all it means when I say assignment of contract. That's, you hear a lot of times it's referred to as wholesaling houses, wholesaling real estate, wholesaling land. That's all it is. You're selling your contract. So the second way to get paid is flip that land. You buy the land and you just turn around and sell it to someone else. That's flipping the land. You can use a real estate agent. You can sell it on Craigslist or eBay. That's flipping the land. And the third way to get paid, my personal favorite, because you get paid for many, many years afterwards, is buy the land, whether it be with your money, or I can show you strategies to where the seller will allow you to make payments to them, or your mother-in-law's money. I mean, I use my in-laws all the time to help me buy land. I pay them interest. I pay them interest on their money. So they're making money. They're really happy. Thanksgiving dinner's great because they're talking about all the money they made. So I'm paying my lender, my in-laws, and then I turn around and sell the land to someone that wants to make me payments for 10 or 15 years. It's called seller financing. So Americans think, how much is it going to cost each month? Like a buddy of mine just bought a brand new Ford F-150. And I was like, hey man, that's a sweet truck. How much did it cost? He goes, I don't know. It's $700 a month. Proof in the pudding. Americans think how much is going to cost each month. So we can sell this land on payments, usually sell it for more than what it's worth and get a monthly payment. That's called passive income. So there's 3 ways to sell it. 1, you assign your contract. 2, you flip the land. Or 3, you flip the land and you get payments for many years to come. That's called seller financing. All right, and it's as simple as that. Guys, there's no motions and potions and no fog and mirror. Like, I'm not making this stuff up. This business has been around for a very long time. I'm just simplifying it. Land investing is simple. Investors are complicated. All right, so what I'm about to teach you is how to start investing in vacant raw land so you can start generating that passive income right now. Imagine an extra $100 a month, an extra $100 a day, or maybe an extra $500 or $600 a month. I remember my second land deal that I purchased for $500. This land was landlocked. Basically, what that means is it was surrounded by state land. It was a state park out in Colorado Springs. And I got this piece of land for $500. I had no clue what I was buying. I just knew that if I could buy a piece of land that was $500, I might as well buy it and just figure it out later. Well, this piece of land, I didn't really think there was that much value to it. So I put it on Craigslist. This is my second parcel of land, by the way, on Craigslist for $500 down. I wanted $500 down as a down payment so I could get my money back out of the deal, low risk, right? And I wanted $400 a month. I found a buyer by that weekend. It was Sunday. The guy brought me cash to buy this down for this down payment for the land. And then he signed a contract with me. We call that a land contract or a contract for deed to pay me for the next several months, $400 a month. And the total was going to be $5,000 at 0% interest. That $400 a month absolutely changed my life. And let me tell you why. Because I had a truck payment at that time that cost me $400 a month back in 2016. And I remember having kind of like a light bulb moment where the light bulb goes off and I was like, holy cow, my truck payment is covered. And I remember talking to Emily, my wife, and I was like, listen, if we can do this 10 more times, we'll be making $4,400 a month and we will be financially free. We can have lifestyle freedom. I can leave the military. We can live life on our terms. So we did it. By 1 year, I had $9,000 a month coming in with land payments, passive income land payments going directly into my bank account. All right, so these are investors who you already heard from. A couple of them have used our shark method to generate hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of income and passive income. There's Sarah. We actually have a couple Sarahs in the group. So there's 2 Sarahs on there. Erin, she bought a piece of land for $15,000 and sold it for $35,000. We got Peter. He did a deal. He did a double escrow close. All that means is He bought the land and sold the land the same day. He bought it for $13,000 and sold it to the neighbor for $26,000. I have a lot of people ask me, who would buy this land, Brent? Like, who is buying this land from you? Well, a lot of times it's the neighbor. Well, a lot of people are like, well, why wouldn't the neighbor just reach out to the landowner? I stopped asking why a long time ago. Why do people take Rolexes to pawn shops and get 10 cents on the dollar for them? I don't know why. I just know that that neighbor wanted more land, and we usually sell to the neighbors. How do you sell to the neighbors? Well, there's many ways. Like, you could put a sign on the land. Well, what if the seller finds out? Who cares? What if you told the seller, listen, Mr. Seller, I'm not going to be keeping this land. I buy and sell vacant raw land. I'm in the military. This is my side hustle. I have 3 kids. Diapers are expensive, and formula and blah, 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 and Gerber and those little things of peas they eat that are disgusting. You don't want that on you, but that stuff costs money. So this is my side hustle. So is it okay with you that I don't keep this land? I'm actually going to try and sell it for a profit. And do you mind if I put a sign out? I'm going to put it on Craigslist and Facebook and all these places. The seller's cool with it. Let me tell you when the seller won't be cool with it. When he thinks or she thinks you're the one that's going to buy it, and they realize that's not the case. Now it's like you haven't been upfront. It's kind of like when the doctor walks in to take your blood, right? And the doctor says, listen, I'm going to like clean your arm with some alcohol, and then I'm going to rub this cotton ball over it, and it's going to be a little tiny needle. You're not even going to feel it. And then after that, I'm going to give you a nice little pink Band-Aid, and all is going to be well. Is it okay if we take your blood? Sure, doctor. Well, let's do another scenario. The doctor walks in and stabs you right in the arm with a needle. Like, you're going to punch the doctor. But the first scenario, the doctor prepared you for the process. That's all we're doing. We're sharing with the seller exactly what we're doing. We're not operating in the shadows here. All right. So imagine getting an extra $9,000 a month. This is Sarah. Her mom actually joined the course as well. She joined the Land Sharks community as well because she was tired of hearing her daughter and her new son-in-law talk about all these land deals they were doing while they were on vacation. So she's like, I want some of that as well. So you can implement this strategy and start collecting checks very quickly. All right. So this is a proven formula that I've developed over 7 years of success. I'm trying to keep other people from having those same exact failures that I had. Hey guys, this is the real deal. Check out these payments. I use a program called EasyNoteTracking.com. I pay $99 a month for this program. It's a software program. I think you can get it as low as $45 a month. EasyNoteTracking.com. But look, $340 on Tuesday. Guys, today is Thursday. Another $200 on Tuesday. $221 on Thursday, a week from today. $175 on Thursday. Wednesday of last week, $276. Guys, these things keep going. $223, $180, $124, $25. Actually, this one failed. This happens. This lady actually went in bankruptcy. So, that's another question I get is, what happens? Like, what's the negative part about land? Sometimes people walk away from the payments they've been making. So we just take the land back, we cancel the contract, or sometimes we have to foreclose. But generally we get a big enough down payment. We're already profitable for the land. $378, $247, $216, $340. It just goes on and on. $640, $958. Those are the good ones. $284. But let me tell you the bad thing about this. This one's probably only like an 84-month loan. These smaller ones, these are generally 30-year loans. These $200 a month ones, $75, 30-year. So guys, this keeps going. All right. So with land, you're immediately profitable and forever profitable. So what do I mean by that? Day one profit, ongoing profits. I talked about that first land deal where I bought for $285 and sold it a few days ago for $5,000. That's a pretty good return on an investment. Well, that first rental property that I bought for $124,000, I rented it out for $1,000 a month, which was at the top of the market. And here's what I learned in rentals is, you actually, a good tenant does not have to pay the top of the market. If you got a tenant willing to pay the top of the market, there's a couple things. One, there's no other houses available. Or two, they got terrible credit or a felony on the record and they're going to trash your house. That happened to me 3 times on my first rental property. 3 times. as well as evictions, as well as a septic tank going out and a roof leaking and the water heater going out and the dishwasher going out. Actually, not the dishwasher, other things like the washing machine leaked in the house. But anyhow, I was never profitable on this house. I bought it in 2007, sold it in 2019 for $132,000. I paid $124,000, sold it for $132,000 like 10 years later. But here's the thing. Every single year, every several months, something broke. Land, nothing ever breaks. So the second land deal, bought it for $500, got my $500 back, and $400 the next month. I was profitable 30 days later. So land, you can actually be profitable immediately. We just bought a piece of land. I talked about my mother-in-law financing me on a piece of land. So we found a couple acres out in Colorado, and it took us a little while to buy it because there were some title issues. There were some problems when one of the sellers passed away. The deed had to transfer. They had to go through something called probate. And luckily, the title insurance company worked all of that out for us. Like if you're wondering, what is a title insurance company? A title insurance company is who helps us transfer properties, transfer real estate. They do all these lien searches and title searches, and then they give you an insurance policy that says, look, if we missed anything, we're going to cover that. So you want to use a title insurance company to buy and sell land or real estate with. So it took a little while to get this parcel of land purchased. Well, while we were trying to buy it, I had an agreement, a purchase agreement that said I'm allowed to market this piece of land and find my buyer. Well, by the time we were able to buy it, I had my buyer waiting, and we were purchasing the land for $40,000. I borrowed that money from my mother-in-law at 9% interest. So our payment to my mother-in-law is $800 a month. My buyer was waiting with his $5,000. He was waiting to put that as a down payment. So he paid us $5,000 the day we closed on the land. So my mother-in-law transferred the money to buy the land. She now has a mortgage where we're going to pay her $800 a month for that land. I collect $5,000 the first day. We're immediately profitable. And my buyer's payment is $946 a month. So every single month, I'm going to keep $146 a month. So I get paid $946 a month. My mother-in-law gets paid $800 a month. My mother-in-law will be paid off in 5 years. My buyer will pay off his parcel of land in 13 and a half years. My buyer is also paying $90,000 for the land. I bought it for $40,000. My buyer is paying me $90,000, and he's paying 12% interest. So if we look at the whole entire 12 and a half years of what we're going to collect in the beginning, which was the $5,000, and the $146 a month for 60 months until 5 years until my mother-in-law is paid off. But after that 60 months, I'm going to have like 8 years of payments of $946 a month rolling in. So that's an additional huge chunk of money. So if you look at all that, that's $102,000 total incoming profit. And that's with none of my own money into that land deal. Now, granted, the buyer could pay it off sooner. A lot of people said, well, do you have a prepayment penalty? No, who cares? I'll get my profit really quickly. I bought it for $40,000. The buyer bought it for $90,000. So I hope he pays off sooner. More power to him. So that's how you can be profitable immediately and ongoing profit. And 3x over landlords. Generally, I make 3 times more on a single land deal than I've ever done on a rental property. And it's also landlords, you're creating yourself a job. If you're looking to get out of your 9-to-5 job and you replace it with another job, that's not the right direction. I've been there with my business. When I got out of the military, something called Parkinson's Law set in. Parkinson's Law says that the task will expand with the time that you give it. So now I had all this free time. I went from working like 12, 13 hours a day for the military to working like an hour a day in my land business. I had to fill that time. And you know what I filled it with? I was scaling my land business. I was hiring all these virtual assistants and the 3 acquisition managers. And before I knew it, I was starting to get gray hairs in my beard. And I was like, what am I doing? So I had to decompress and descale and get rid of that job I had just recreated myself back to a business that serves me and my families and others. So let's talk about freedom. Live anywhere, deals everywhere. Profit anywhere, do deals everywhere. Guys, I moved from Colorado to Florida about 2 years ago, and now we're about to go to Costa Rica for 6 weeks. Guys, I'm going to keep doing my land business from there. I'm going to keep collecting the passive income from there. This entire system can be done online. I do it all from a computer, and I still have boots on ground. That's the land specialist realtors. Let me tell you how to find these land specialist realtors. You just find the realtors that are selling the land. You find it on Zillow. You find it on Redfin. You can very easily see who is selling the land in these areas, and those are your professionals. Those are your boots on ground. All right, I already kind of mentioned scalability. This is an easy, scalable company. I've done it already, and I like the words of Tom Kroll. A job gives you the obligation to work. A business gives you the option to work. All right, exclusivity and scarcity. Guys, banks don't lend on land. I do. Using the buyer's money. So why do I want to be like the banks? Remember I talked about following the smart money? Banks are very, very profitable. They usually have the biggest, prettiest buildings in all the cities and all the states, is because they know how to make profit. So when banks don't lend on land, that makes the seller have to do two things. Either they got to lend to me and let me make payments to them for their land, or two, they have to sell it to me for a massive discount. If you took all the lending away right now, the price of everything would go down. The reason why prices go up on houses is because the lending got very, very cheap. If you notice, that happened very recently for us. Like you saw interest rates of 2-3% interest, and prices were skyrocketing because money was cheap. So that drove prices up. Guys, when I lend on my land, when I allow people to make payments on the land, that allows the prices to go up on the land, and it allows me to be the bank as well. The banks are also very smart because they created something called the 30-year mortgage. If you look at it, what's called an amortization schedule, it's how a mortgage slowly dies to amortize. And a mortgage, mort, meaning death, gauge, meaning term, a 30-year mortgage, if you look at the first 7 years, it's pretty much all interest. Why is it the first 7 years? Because banks know that people usually buy or sell or move every 5 to 7 years. So if I lend a buyer for a piece of land for 30 years on a 30-year mortgage, if they sell it in 5 years or 7 years, I've pretty much just been collecting interest checks now for the last 60, 72 months. All right, so now after having done, over 300 land deals and teaching countless students how to earn passive income using land, I want to extend an invitation to you. Inside the Land Sharks program, we show you exactly how to identify the right land parcels that generate the highest profits by using my special LOL method. We call that the land offer letter method. Or you can call it the LOL because you just laugh out loud, because you got a smoking hot land deal in contract, under contract, that you can sell that contract for $5, $10, $20, $30,000. This is my secret sauce to this business, guys. You do not have to have money to get in the real estate game. And me, in my case, in 2016, I didn't have money or time. I would just assign these contracts, and I built my bank account like to $25,000. I paid off my debt. I paid off my credit cards. And then I started buying the land and turning around and 4Xing my money, 5Xing my money, and then collecting passive income. And I became the bank. This is also, I'm going to show you how to find an avalanche of hungry land buyers. I have a very specific method for finding land buyers, because unlike traditional buyers, land buyers operate in the shadows. They stay quiet. And I'm going to show you how to find the best and most qualified buyers who are really hungry, and they're going to pay you top dollar for your land. Also, we're going to show you how to buy land using other people's money. I already talked about my mother-in-law. That's just one example. Also, how you can learn my dead simple process for buying and selling vacant raw land using other people's money, how you'll be able to build that thriving real estate business you deserve and start collecting that passive income. Also, how to negotiate with the buyers to build your passive income pipeline, how to negotiate with the sellers, exactly what to say. And guys, a lot of this is done via email. Like, I literally just got a piece of land under contract a week ago, and we already have an offer on it, and I never spoke to the seller on the phone. It was all by email. I'm going to show you the best way to structure these deals, how to negotiate payment terms with your buyers, and also how to work with these land sales specialist realtors and how to find the best ones. And I'm going to show you how to create truly consistent passive income that comes into your bank account every single day. The way the Land Shark system is delivered is we have weekly support calls, and that is with me every single Tuesday, ringing the victory bell. We're sharing wins. We're breaking down deals. We're sharing screens. We're deep diving deals and pricing land. There's nothing left unturned. there are answers to your questions and also ways to get you over the hurdles, because there's going to be roadblocks. This takes work. It takes work to do things other people aren't doing to get that passive income stream built. It does take a little work. And then other sharks are also sharing case studies. They're not just sharing case studies, but they're also doing support calls. It's not just me doing the support calls. Now, granted, my day is Tuesday, but other sharks are doing support calls on other days. And these are not paid coaches. They're just giving back. They're go-givers. You get my cell phone number. You have access to me. You also have access to our private Facebook Land Shark support group, as well as my assistant coach who's been through 5 real estate crashes. This guy is pure gold. He's like our secret sauce as well. And then you also get the instruction videos that tell you step by step, A to Z, 1, 2, 3, and you get an action step each day of how to move the needle. They're very clear. They're very quick. And then the downloads, all the downloads that gave you the contracts to use, the purchase agreements to use, the scripts to use, all of that is given to you in the Land Sharks community in the program. So now, how do you get access to the Land Sharks? You must be invited. And since you've made it this far on the webinar, I'm assuming that you want to achieve passive income for you and your family. So there is a significant investment for setting up the program and teaching you the ropes. But most of my students make that money back on their first deal. And it's usually within an average of 47 days from the time they start to the time they're getting revenue in their bank account. Which means as long as you're taking the action, as long as you're doing the business and taking the steps and doing exactly what we say, there's nothing to worry about. All right, so I want to show you one final testimonial, and this is from Mo. Mo actually gave me this review, and before he joined the Land Sharks community, he had actually just gotten out of prison. So Mo had kind of a tough background. Mo had gotten out of prison and found a beautiful girl, and they ended up getting pregnant. And he has a baby on the way. So this is his welcome call. Me and him, I remember exactly where I was sitting. I was actually about to pick up my children from school. And he tells me, Brent, I've joined your course, the Land Sharks. I have a baby on the way in 9 months. I had a really good job getting out of prison, but I had another offer. I had an offer over here, and these guys were willing to pay me like a few more dollars an hour. I'm going from like $12 an hour to $14.50 an hour. And I'm going off memory because I did a podcast with him about 6 or 8 months ago. But he goes, Brent, I gave my notice, my 2-week notice with this first job that hired me out of prison, and they trusted me, but I had a bigger opportunity. So I gave my 2-week notice. And in that 2 weeks, that second offer, that second job that was going to pay me a couple dollars more an hour, canceled that offer. They rescinded that offer. They took it back. So I tried to go back to my first job. In that job, that position was already filled. So my back's against the wall, Brent. I've got to make this work. I remember sweating on this welcome call. Like, oh my God, how's this kid going to make it? Like, is he going to listen to what I say? Is he going to trust me? Is he going to take the steps and do the action steps? And let me tell you, he did. Listen to what he's got to say.
How's it going? Mo here. I just want to go ahead and give a shout out to Brent Bowers, the landman himself. He's an incredible man to work with. This man knows exactly what he's talking about. All the information that he's been able to provide to me and to keep me just kind of focused and on track, trying to turn this land into a business for my own, to build something for my family, to give myself freedom. I mean, this is definitely something that, he has shown to not only me, but so many others, of how they can release their time and free up their time and really get on board with grabbing land and turning into generational wealth and being with their family and just everything that, you dream of as a business owner. Land is where to be. Brent knows it. I know it. Everybody else that works with Brent knows it. Couldn't be more grateful to have met this man and continue to work with him. So, yeah, Brent the Landman. Keep going, Brent. Love it.
Guys, wasn't that incredible? Look what you can do. Guys, and he's not the first. It's funny. I want to tell you about Chris Meeks, another guy that got out of prison, started buying and selling land. You wouldn't even believe this story. His first land deal in Pueblo, Colorado, where I was living at the time, we had a 58-acre ranch. We still have it. He did a deal right in my own backyard. And I'm talking about Chris Meeks, one of my first land sharks. He did over $1 million profit on his first land deal. And the developer that bought the land from him, you're like, who in the world buys this land? Builders, developers, home, like all these people are buying land. Billionaires, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett. Well, this developer bought this land and he built a tract of homes. I think it was like 58 homes. And part of the payment to Chris Meeks was one of those houses. Well, this guy, he has something called Hope Homes, Chris Meeks, and he donates a house each year with his profits. Well, this guy is so incredible. Chris, he had literally went from prison to doing land deals with the land sharks. And he just recently, he posted on Facebook, he's a friend of mine. I saw where he gave a child a ride in his Lambo. He got a Lamborghini. And I don't recommend people going out there and buying Lamborghinis, but I love what Chris is doing. This child was getting bullied at school. So he gave this kid a ride to school. And I believe he picked him up as well. That kid is a rock star now because of that ride in that Lambo. So guys, you can do great things with profit. Guys, millionaires, actually, let me back up. Billionaires have lost millions of dollars to become billionaires. Millionaires have lost hundreds of thousands of dollars to become millionaires. You know what broke people have lost? Nothing. Well, maybe the money they spend on lottery tickets. So guys, remember these other investors you've heard about already, who've used this system to generate hundreds of thousands of dollars. We got Andrew Bond. This guy is like 24 years old. We got Chris. We got Brent. He closed another $10,000, $10K assignment. What does that mean? He assigned his contract. He sold his contract, and another $20,000 already assigned and just working on the paperwork. Guys, what I want you to do right now is go to thelandsharks.com/start if you want to be a shark. Here's the thing. Like, please don't put in an application unless you're fully committed. You're fully committed to changing your life, quitting that 9-to-5 job, or building a passive income business that's going to generate you income so you can live life on your terms. Guys, go to thelandsharks.com/start right now. Here's the kicker though. Because our students work with me directly, I can only take about 5 to 7 new clients a month. So once enrollment fills, we're going to put you on the wait list and we will reach back out. Guys, common questions I get is, what if I have a 9-to-5? What if I don't have any time? What if I, have 3 kids at home, or I'm a single mother? Well, I was an Army officer working 13 hours a day, training up for the 3rd combat deployment. We got Alana Cohen, which I also just got the opportunity to do a Wholesaling Inc. podcast. Guys, if you're not listening to a podcast, go to the Wholesaling Inc. podcast. I did a podcast with Alana Cohen. She is a single mother of 4 children. She just did her 7th land deal, her 3rd land deal. I remember like it was yesterday. She made a $25,000 net profit on her 3rd land deal. Single mother of 4. How much time does it take? Another question all the time. Like, how much time would you spend to have a monthly passive income check coming in? Average, it takes about 47 days is what I'm seeing from the time a student enrolls to the time they get their first payment in their bank account. Next question. Do I need to talk on the phone? Yes and no. I have a student in Korea. He's in command. He's an Army officer, and he's like, Brent, I can't take phone calls. I'm working in a basement. It's a secure location. I can't even take my phone in. I got to literally put it in the cubby hole before I walk into the secure basement. So I was like, listen, just take your phone number off the LOL. And what was the LOL? It's the purchase agreement that we send to these landowners that are desperate to sell. So he took it off. He no longer gets phone calls. So we're hardly talking on the phone at all. And I talked about already the land deal that I just bought the other day via email. All right, so next, how do I get paid? You get paid from the wire, from the title company, or a monthly payment. So these passive income checks that I talk about all the time, I'm getting paid directly into my bank account. All right, guys, thanks so much. Have a blessed day. All right, so again, apply if you want to become a shark. Go to thelandsharks.com and apply.